Hello, race fans. Welcome back here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting here on this wonderful Monday night, as we as always have the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here from Evolution Racing Leagues. And remember, Evolution Racing Leagues is brought to you by Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. And we're happy to be here tonight at Rockingham Speedway here in North Carolina, virtual Rockingham. And getting to see some great trucker racing here tonight, as we got a vast group of drivers here tonight in this Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. I'm Zach Call up in the booth as always. Call the shots alongside me will be Brandon Colley, my partner in crime, and we'll have Robert Warrior Jr. up in the broadcast booth here with us, running all these beautiful cameras and giving us the top-notch quality all you fans deserve out there. So get ready to get this thing kicked off. We're nearing the start of qualifying, as practice is just ending, so we're getting ready to head into qualifying. Brandon, what do we expect, man? Can Cody McCauley get his sixth pole in a row? Because actually GT just topped the practice board there at the end of that procession.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We talked to Cody, every start of every race so far this season, and he's just been dominating the qualifying trim so far, looking for that sixth in a row, and definitely not something you see often. And hopefully, maybe he can just edge out GT here to take home his sixth one and get another talk in with him here as they're gridding up. I'm expecting to see some loose trucks. Looking at these guys in practice, Zach, they're a little bit loose coming out of two. Normally, it's a bit snug. Track really narrows out of two, and see guys catching the fence, but seen a few guys just step it out a little bit, maybe catching the apron, and that's something they're really going to have to be mindful for during the race.
This fence does not forgive here, especially off of two there. Really just sticks out there. It's almost like the two off Darlington. You just can never get away from it seems. But it'll be interesting, like you said, with that loose feeling in the trucks too. Looks like coming off of two. That should be interesting to see how they come off of there. But yeah, as we head into qualifying here, let's talk a little bit about these points here, because we're 5 races in. This will be our 6th race here tonight in the Truck Series. And it looks like GT right now is our points leader with a 19-point lead over last week's winner, Curtis Preston. So GT with no wins through 5 starts so far, but he's got 4 top 5s and 5 top 10s. So just been very consistent from GT up there to lead these points, with Curtis Preston, teammate there, in the second position, 19 points back, with John Oliette there, 26 back in the third position. Cody McCauley, who's been dominant, like we said, in the pole positions category, but only 1 win during these first 5 races and only 2 top 5. So he's kind of struggled to put the races together, but he's led a lot of laps, so we can definitely say he's got the speed. He's just got to put a whole race together for sure in that McCauley team there. And also Brendan Biesinger rounding our top 5 points, being 38 points back. So we got some really strong contenders out here as always, man. We'll just have to see what happens here in qualifying. As it looks right now, Curtis Preston at the top of the board with a 22.95. We'll see if that can be bested, as GT was unable to run at the same time you're in practice.
Yeah, talk about GT leading our points here. No wins, but going the route of Mark Martin there, just being really consistent, maximizing his point gains and not really having any mistakes that we've seen out of a lot of other guys. But you also mentioned Brendan Biesinger. They're in the third position, top 5 points, now bumped down to 4th as Travis Everett pulls out a time even with GT there. Time. Wow. And Cody McCauley, he had to take a time. Look at this, 3rd through 5th, separated by 100th, even 6th, 200ths of a second. Close qualifying times here.
Yeah, and I was watching Cody McCauley there. He actually stopped right before the finish line to reset, I believe. Actually, that'll be his second lap right there. So, yeah, I was on his second lap, so no reset for him. He's let's say he's going to bring it home in the 11th position. So no 6-time pole in a row. But I tell you what, 5 in a row is not bad. But maybe he can transfer this right here into a race win, because, like we said, he's had the speed, but just hasn't been able to translate it into more than 1 race win so far through the season. But we'll have to see. And also good to see Dylan Reed out here back on the track. He's our only 2-time winner out here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series through this season. So we'll see if he can get himself back on track, as he's missed a few weeks here. So we'll have to watch that. But right now, it looks like Curtis Preston at the moment still sitting on top of the board, but the times are so close, Brandon.
Yeah, like I said before, the 2 100 separating 2nd through 6th place, and then you've got Curtis Preston about a tenth quicker than the rest of the top 10 here, even more so back to seventh, eighth, ninth. So quick time for Curtis Preston, that 29 machine. Looking to see if Dylan Reed will put out a qualifying lap. Doesn't look like. We've only got about a minute left in qualifying. And touching on Dylan Reed missing those couple races, if I remember correctly, they do have 2 drop weeks. So this may not hurt him bad, but you don't want to use those drop weeks up by just missing races. It's that safety net for having those couple bad races where maybe you get wrecked out and don't get a really good points night. You can kind of fall back on those drop weeks. So he's kind of in a position now where he's really got to, not have any bad races for the rest of the season.
Yeah, right now sitting 15th in points with those 2 wins and 3 starts. So 2 for 3 this season for Dylan Reed. We'll see if he can go 3 for 4 and continue his hot streak throughout this season here. But like you said, let's say it's going to end up here with Curtis Preston as our Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight in that number 29. And from last week, we talked to him and his teammate Michael Sheffield, and Sheffield said that's the man to watch here coming to Rockingham, and he definitely was, Brandon, as he was able to bring home the Sheffield Graphics pole winning position here, and looks very, very strong here as we move on to our starting grid here, and we'll see where your favorite drivers line up before we get talking here with Mr. Curtis Preston. There you see it. Curtis Preston on top of the board, followed by Travis Everett, teammate. Slide Job Racing taking a 1-2-3 with GT in the 3rd position. 4th is going to go to Brendan Biesinger. 5th, Kale Seaman. 6th is going to be Alex Rudolph. 7th, Chad Biesinger. 8th, John Oliette. 9th, Michael Sheffield. 10th will go to Dale Lee. 11th is Cody McCauley. 12th will be Dylan Reed. 13th, Richard Gonzalez. 14th, Matt Upbrook. And rounding out your field in the 15th position will be David Edwards. And as our starting grid here tonight for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series, and we'll get our Sheffield Graphics pole winner down here to get a talk in with Brandon Colley. And here is Curtis Preston.
Hey, Curtis, it's Brandon up in the booth.
How you doing tonight, Brandon?
Pretty good. Well, bud, leading that trio of Slide Job Racing up there, taking the pole tonight, and we heard that you were going to be the man to beat here at Rockingham. So how are you feeling about this race, especially starting from that front row?
I feel pretty good about it. I always feel pretty good starting from the pole. Glad I got some friendly company up here with me, that's for sure. But had a good lap. It stuck real good in 1 and 2 for us. But as everybody knows, 147 laps at Rockingham is a long way to go. A lot of chances to make mistakes there. So just got to keep our heads screwed on right all night.
Well, you talk about keeping the truck clean and the laps sticking for you in 1 and 2. That was something we touched on. It looked like it was a little bit loose out of 2. Is that right?
It is on cold tires. I mean, first couple laps it's a little free, but it snugs right up for you. It's not bad at all. The truck's getting over the bumps really well.
Yeah, it's good to hear that the setup's working well for you guys. We know this track's pretty bumpy, and did you guys get ready to roll off here? We'll let you get back down to the car and get yourself all buckled in and ready to go here. So hopefully we'll talk to the end of this thing, and have good luck in this race there, Curtis.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the race. Have a good one.
All right, that is your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight, Curtis Preston, in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here at Evolution Racing Leagues. And I tell you what, great lap for him. Like you said, Brandon, we've heard he's the man to beat. Right now we're rolling off down the back straightaway. It's gonna be fun to watch and see what kind of race he can keep up tonight. I tell you what, we got some close times out there, so I would expect a lot of competition, and it's gonna be very, very fun from the jump here at this tough, bumpy old surface.
It's definitely one of the tracks that we get to run on here on iRacing that's got a lot of character in it, a really old surface. Unfortunately, not in the rotation for tracks on the schedule anymore. Hopefully that comes back. Maybe they can do some work to get this fan favorite back on the schedule. That'd be really cool.
It would be very cool. Look at this as the truck pulls off. We're going green flag racing here tonight at the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series down to turn 1. Curtis Preston going to lead us with that Slide Job Racing 1, 2, 3. I'm going to tell you what, you're going to get to that bottom line early. That place is very strong through 1 and 2.
Absolutely. You can enter a little bit wider into 3 and almost cut the apex later into the run. It works pretty well, carry a lot of speed out. But 1 and 2, if you miss the bottom, you're going to be losing a lot of time having to check up just to make sure you don't catch the fence out of the set of corners there.
First lap complete. Curtis Preston, your race leader still. As we look back through the field, look at a single file pretty much from 1st to 15th right now. So these guys are selling out right now. And the thing here, Brandon, we're about to watch for is tire fall off. This place is notorious for long run speed and long run comers and goers, with people being able to save tires and some people not being able to do it. So I'm very interested to see how that's all going to play out here as we continue on through this race.
It's really easy to burn up the right front here. It seems like the corner starts really before the banking, so you're carrying a lot more speed in than you kind of want to. It's really deceptive. You want to slow it down a lot more than you feel like the truck really needs to. Otherwise, you're going to push up the hill pretty hard and use up a lot of that right front, get a lot of temperature build up, and then later in the run, it's not going to want to turn at all for you.
And good point you brought up earlier there, Brandon, was we don't have this track on the real circuit anymore. You know, nobody races here at the moment. I believe there's actually going to be a Cars Tour race here. At some point, they do have to do a lot of updating features, but that's one of the beauties of iRacing. To all you fans out there, we get to race on historical tracks like this that, you know, iRacing can keep them alive forever. I mean, that's the big thing for me, is you get to see Rockingham at its peak right here with these guys racing on it. That's just an amazing feature that we have on iRacing, and something to be proud of as sim racers, that we get to race on something so historical as this place.
Absolutely, classic battles and back in the 80s, early 90s, when these tracks were at their heyday, and get to kind of live it for ourselves. It's really cool, even from just a simulation perspective. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah, this one definitely special to my heart. This is the track was nearest to me when it was in service. So used to go here as a young child. This is what got me into the sport, really. Sitting on the back straightaway, grandstands, which are no longer there, as you see, but yeah, sitting back there watching the Pop Secret 400s and all those races back there. That was definitely a huge feature. But like I said, iRacing brings them back to life, and we get to experience things like this. This kind of gives me a childhood feeling. And I think we got a battle for the 4th position now. The 17 of Kel Seaman just passes Brendan Biesinger going through 1 and 2. What a pass that was. As we hop on there, as you see, Kel has now got by the 68. And look at that behind him, Cody McCauley from the 11th starting position. He's up to 6th. So the 62 showing speed as he always does. It'll be interesting to see his climb through the field, as there's even a battle behind that with the 42 looking to the inside of the 81, but the 81 closes the door on him.
Yeah, looking at the 62, he's up 5 spots from the start of the race. Been watching him climb through the field, and I noticed, we talked about Dylan Reed, and it looks like he's kind of, maybe struggling a little bit right now. He's up 3 positions, not too bad, but he generally has a little bit more speed. I don't know if it's just not one of his favorite tracks. Maybe struggles with it a little bit. We'll have to see if he can make up a little bit more ground by the time this race comes to its conclusion.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is one of the most unique racetracks. So this track, you may be fast at other tracks. Now we look at GT. He's actually got past Travis Everett for that 2nd position. So GT in the 4 truck has moved himself up to that top 2 positions now. But back to what I was saying, this is a very unique racetrack. There's not a track like this on the circuit, and it takes a very special type of line and type of driving style to get around this place. So sometimes it takes people a good bit to adapt to this type of racetrack, especially 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 being completely different. I mean, the bankings, the bumps, and the radius of the corners. This place is literally way different than your normal racetrack. It's actually Cody McCauley continuing his progress through the 62s. He's going to get around Kel Seaman as they go down to 3 and 4. Side by side, these guys, it looks like the 62 will make the clean pass there on the bottom lane to move himself up into the 4th position. We'll have to see what type of pace he has now as he gets a little bit of clean track compared to these top 3 slide job racing drivers.
Well, going back to the track, you talk about the bumps, and everybody talks about dope, how it feels like a roller coaster going off into the corners, coming back out of the corners. Well, these bumps center the corners here at Rockingham, it's a roller coaster in every corner. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down. We talked to Curtis. He said the bumps felt pretty good in this truck. And when the bumps can feel pretty good. It's a lot of fun, but when they don't feel good, you're going to be struggling the whole race.
Well, that's the key, man. And shout out to Michael Sheffield on the setup to these guys out here running. That's the key, man. If you can't get over the bumps here, you can't get through the corners. We ride along here. If you recall, you can see the top three ahead of him now from the blimp. It's just the bumps are so critical, and you can see the line. You really want to keep it nice and tight to that yellow curb all the way around this place. You know, it's so cool to see that it's just the bumps, man. They bring the track alive. It's completely different than your normal racing surface. Like you said, it's almost up, down, like a roller coaster constantly through these corners.
Yeah, it really shows the guys that are, you know, super talented just driving tracks that are you know, really characteristic, because it's not the most difficult thing to get around a track that is perfectly smooth. It's, you know, really easy to figure out a line around a place like that, but when you've got a track that, you know, center of the corners where it's constantly shifting the balance of the truck over you know, bumps like this, it's a lot of fun to figure out. And then once you do, man, you just pull away from everybody.
So it looks like we got a battle for the 13th and 14th position between Dale Lee in the 45 and Chad Biesinger back here. Looks like Chad's going to make the pass, move himself up to 13th, push Dale back to 14th. That was a good little battle there for a second. But I tell you what, these guys are all looking really strong through the first 18 laps here at the Rockingham Speedway, and it's been interesting to watch so far. As we've definitely got some comers and goers, and starting to look at lap times. These times are starting to even out for a lot of these guys. Cody McCauley pretty much matching the leader's race pace with, I believe, even Dylan Reed. He was actually the fastest car on the racetrack last time by. So maybe the 31's starting to figure it out. And that's another thing, Brandon. This place, you can take off and go slow, and you get really fast as the run goes on. It seems to be one of those tracks where...
Oh, we got a wreck on the backstretch.
Oh, no, that was right in front of us. Oh, and Dylan Reed catches part of that as you see the 31 coming by. Wow, we'll have to go back here on the Freaky Fast replay as we got our first Or Nissan Central caution here tonight. And check that one out, because that happened right in front of us here on the back straightaway. I think it started around that 17 at Kel Seaman. As we'll go back here on the Freaky Fast replay here. We'll see we're riding here with Alex Rudolph. Looks like, I believe in front of him, yeah, here we go, the 17, the 68. Oh, the 68 a little bit to the back bumper of the 17. Going to send him around head first into that inside wall, and that's going to ricochet that 17 back up this racetrack. The 81 just squeaks by of John, and look at the 42, nowhere to go. Just collects the 17. Then you're going to see from the 42 here, you're going to see the 31 come in the picture. He's going to try to skirt by on the bottom, and look, I think he's just going to get caught on the right rear. It's going to send him around, but I believe Dylan did not hit anything, if I'm correct.
No, I don't know if he just managed to scuff the fence where he already had some of that damage, but overall, that could have been a whole lot worse for that 31 machine. We've seen before with these trucks, they're really sensitive to nose damage, and any kind of nose damage, it's really easy to overheat and or just outright blow the engine. So I'll take some rear end damage over getting caught in the nose with these trucks, that's for sure. So he should be okay. Get in pit road here and get it fixed, and be right back out with that pace he had before.
Yeah, and looking at the race truck for the 31, he just tapped the rear end on the wall. Just barely grazed it. So that's not going to be a huge issue. No front end damage here. And that's interesting, but definitely a used set of tires there. Looks like McCauley may have pulled some type of strategy here, Brandon, to get himself out front here. To go back and look at that.
That was a splash and go, Zach.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he did not take any tires on that stop.
Remember, this is kind of similar strategy he pulled at Michigan, but it kind of led to his demise personally at Michigan. You remember not taking tires there, and really just couldn't stay with the draft at that point, and lost all his time due to that factor. So yeah, he's the only guy, I believe, to take only tires there, as most of the front runners up here taking 4 tires and fuel. Now, that's going to set these guys back that did take tires to 3 sets left in the pits with the 147 lap race here. Yeah, I kind of like McCauley's position. I mean, personally, if we get a few more cautions, he could be sitting very pretty in this number 62, because the extra sets of tires here are huge.
Yeah, and it seems like it's something we talk about week in and week out, Zach. That we got these tire sets, and you try to maximize it to have a set at the end of the race to get a late caution, but that only ever works out if you get the cautions. Um, to his credit, this place it does seem to bring out cautions quite a bit, so we'll see if it works out. But as we go back to green, I want to point out that the tire fall off is about only a second over 20 laps.
10-4, good information there from our man Brandon Colley. Oh, GT a little bit wiggly up on that top groove. He's going to lose a position and possibly two with John Oliette there behind him in the 81. I'd expect these front runners to get by this 62 pretty quickly, even though, like you said, only a second of fall off, but that second of fall off will be huge. Um, pretty drastic here in a moment. I think Curtis Preston's going to be able to set the 62 up coming off a two here. You can see already getting nice and close to the 62. Had to lift a little bit, I think, there to help the 62 out there. I mean, that's the smart position though right here. Curtis Preston knows he can get by. It's just he has to set the run to come off the track right here where he doesn't run him over. And look at that great move. There you go. You see the light, and he's going to take it here as they go down to 1 and 2. And this is going to slide McCauley up the racetrack. And look at this. Here comes the conveyor belt of race cars going by here on the inside. It looks like GT just going to get a nose to the inside as they go down to 3 and 4. And look at that. It's going to let John Oliette. It's also going to let David Edwards by. So that's going to push Cody McCauley in one lap all the way back to the 6th position.
And unfortunately, I think he's just going to continue to fall. It's a gamble. You're giving up a lot of spots now just to save that set of tires, hoping that it will be able to gain them back, or maybe we've got another caution.
Looks like Dylan Reed, the 31, and didn't hit nothing, but we'll go back out here and check out our second or Nissan Central caution here is on the Freaky Fast replay. Looks like the 31 here may have been having a little trouble getting off a two as he comes off a two here. He catches that inside curbing and just loses that race truck dead sideways there as we're going down the back straightaway.
Yeah,
So
well,
easy place to lose.
Yeah, it's something we saw in practice. You catch the apron there because you're trying to keep it pinched so close to the apron for the exit of the corner, just how tight it is. And just a little bit. Did a really good job immediately recognizing how much trouble he was in, locking him down. It's going to hurt the tires, but not too bad. Should be able to get him cooled off here under these pace laps. And again, no incidents, didn't hit anything. I'm really liking how Dylan Reed's able to avoid contact under these spins and stuff. It's reminiscent of some of the tracks that I struggle with. I've got a lot of practice spinning and not hitting anything there. So it's fun to see.
And bear with us here for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little bit of a technical issue here. We got our graphics stuck on the screen here, so we're working on getting that off. It's how finicky technology can be. So we'll get that figured out here as we're under pace laps for our second caution of the night there. It looks like we're gonna have a full reset of our overlays and see if that helps the problem here for the race tonight. Well, I tell you what, that caution didn't help McCauley out. He wanted to see it go a little bit longer, personally, Brandon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Ideally, if you stay out like this, you want you want as many laps as it takes the tires to really even out before there's another caution. Um, and then, you can decide at that point if you want to go ahead and throw that set on or just ride around where you're at and maybe make use of it later. But you only get 5 or 6 laps in a run. It really doesn't do much to wear the tires, and the guys can almost fire off on the restart like they just pit. So it's going to continue to drop more spots here, and hope to get that lucky caution at the end where he can make use of that set he's trying to save.
Under our second caution of the evening, everybody, as we're still working on getting our telemetry and our info back up here on the screen. As you're looking at Michael Sheffield there in the one truck, started in that 9th position up to 7th. So Sheffield won the ARCA race last time we were here at Evolution Racing Leagues at the Rockingham for their 3 series they have. So he was a good little Rockingham driver. So let's see how competitive he can make it throughout the rest of this race. as he's already made up 2 positions, and it looks like we do have everything back up and running, so sorry about that, everybody, but we're good to go now, as I believe we'll be taking 1 to green here on our pace truck and getting ready to go back green flag racing here at the Rock.
Man, lights are out on the pace truck. 1 to go.
And also, you can see there on our ticker it says first caution, but we are on our second caution due to having to reset the overlays here, as we had a little bit of issue there, of course, and so it's going to be 1 caution less than what we had. So we'll make sure to correct that when you see that pop up. But yes, under our second caution of the evening, getting ready to go back green flag races. We're going. They're pacing down Thunder Alley here, and heading to turn 3 to get this thing back under green, and it's going to be interesting to see how Cody McCauley can fare here through this next portion of this run.
Well, unfortunately, with him restarting on the outside, not the place you really want to be here at Rockingham, especially when you've got old tires. Just kind of really opens the door for the guys to get just pounce on the inside and keep you stuck up there.
There's the pace truck, as you see, we're riding on board here with Cody McCauley on this restart. And they are off and away as green flag is out in the air. Not a great restart from McCauley, but it looks like he will be able to get to the bottom of the and that's the key for him to stop the bleed of those old tires. And they should take off pretty well. You get these cooldown phases, Brandon, where you can take off for that first lap or two, and it's fine. But the next couple laps are going to be definitely possibly an issue.
Yeah, you get about 1 or 2 laps where you can keep yourself out of trouble and not really get run over much by the guys with fresher tires. But after that, it kind of settles back into the pace that you were running before the caution, where you were able to cool them off. And back to that restart, Cody didn't get the best restart, but lucky for him, Michael Sheffield in the 1 didn't get the best restart either. It really allowed him to fall in line here. And as you can see already, that 62 is just slowly losing time. And space on the track to these guys, as we've got a battle for the lead right now.
Yes, we do, battle for the lead, and I believe we still may be having some issues here. I believe our overlays are still frozen, as it says we are still under caution. There it goes. It's catching up as you see the guys speeding around the racetrack, but we're good to go now here. As look at this battle though, with GT going to the inside teammate Curtis Preston. He says, I want to take a chance at this league, get me some bonus points out here in this 4 machine. Hasn't won a race yet this season in the truck series. We know how strong GT is in those cup cars. So let's see if he can pull one out here tonight, possibly in that number 4 machine, as he's always
Well, Zach, I'll tell you, I'm sure the 29 of Curtis Preston, when he saw his teammate of GT go around him, he's thinking, dang, man, I really shouldn't have given him these tips as we were practicing to get ready for this race.
Yeah, and you got a little battle here, too. Looks like David Edwards is going to get someone to the inside of him in that 15 truck. The 81 of John Oliet says, hey, I'm here. Give me the inside lane. I don't want to come through. Looks like David Edwards real clear, though, off of 4, so he can get down in front of him as they go to 1 and 2.
Well, I believe that makes it right now slide job racing 1 to 4. Michael Sheffield not too far back, and then we got Matt Upbrook back, and it looks like the 13th position, or 12th position, excuse me. So really good outing so far for these guys, slide job racing.
Very good pace they're showing here. And tell you what, McCauley hanging on tough, though, in that 62, man, for them old tires. Remember, he has not changed his tires yet in this race. He is still sitting in that 6th position there, turning decent lap times here compared to the leader. Really only a couple tenths off.
And right behind him, Michael Sheffield. I know exactly what Sheffield's doing. Looking at his lap times, he's just running, a couple tenths slower. It was something we saw Dylan Reed do earlier in the race before that first caution. Just taking care of the tires, and as the run goes on, he's going to catch up to these front 4 or 5 and start giving them a run for the money, as we see Dylan Reed now closing up to the back of that number 1 truck.
As you see the one closing to the back bumper of the 6th here on them older tires, and here comes Dylan Reed also in the 31. And also, again, everybody bear with us as we are why we cannot figure out why our But, okay, so we're getting word that is fine out there. 10-4. Okay, so we're getting word we are okay. Look at this, Macaulay going backwards. So okay, good thing the viewers can see it. That's all that matters. We could deal with not seeing the boards move. So good to see that, hear that. Glad to see everybody out there actually can see what's going on. Looks like we're having a little technical difficulties on the preview side of things here. But yeah, we're good to go. Then Cody Macaulay here falling back. Looks like now he's all the way back to the ninth position now after getting passed on the outside lane. The outside lane just doesn't go, and now even Matt Oprah going by to push him back to 10th or even 11th.
Yeah, these old a little bit of contact there between the 62 and the 16. I think it's what I talked about at the top of the broadcast. Turn one, especially, the turn starts before the banking, and you carry too much speed, and the truck really gets tight and pushes up the track. And it was just a big display of that right there. Luckily, no big incident, maybe a little bit of damage between the two trucks, but all good other than that.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see there, Brandon. A little bit of contact. Look, the most damage was actually to the rear end of that 16 truck. The 62 seems to be pretty fine on the left front, but here comes the 16 back at him. And you can see these older tires now. They're really starting to give up as the heat has gotten into them.
Yeah, and that's something that I've seen. We did a race here recently where I experienced that same thing. You feel like you're a little bit quicker than the guy, especially knowing you've got fresher tires, so you really send it off into the corner, and just the grip's not there. The grip for these corners, it's not there until you get about center. It's where it's really loaded up.
You see there, Matt O'Brook able to make the pass, and having some definite, having a little bit of buggy night here on the preview side of things for us guys watching. If you guys could only see what we've been seeing, they turned some sub 5-second laps up here for us. They hit supersonic mode. So whatever they've done out here, they've really hit on the setup tonight. So congrats to Michael Sheffield. At the moment, we still got a slide job racing 1, 2, 3 here. Looks like GT still holding on to the lead in front of Curtis Preston with Travis Everett not too far behind. You have John Oliet, David Edwards, and Michael Sheffield up to 6 now. So all of the slide job racing drivers up in 6th in the top 6. So that's really, really good to see for their team.
Oh yeah, they're coming out strong, and when you've got a guy like Curtis Preston who's just really knows the track, really loves to run here, it's a lot of useful information, and these guys, they're showing that they've made the most of what information he's been able to give them.
Useful information always comes into factor, and I actually can comment on Cody Macaulay actually did get his damage, just some reason on the replay dish did appear for me. So the 62 definitely some heavy left front damage, and it's not the most aerodynamic track, but I tell you what, you are going to upwards of 160 to 170 mile an hour here, so you do definitely get some aerodynamic effect from that damage. And now Cody McCauley's all the way fell back to 12th. My biggest issue for him would be falling a lap down because the leaders are going into 1 as he's going just into 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's part of the gamble with the tire strategy. Now at this point, I'm sure he's really open for a caution. But the more things get spread out, relying on one driver to make a big enough mistake that it throws a caution, it's not very likely that it happens, especially as the tires wear out. Everybody's going just a little bit slower. But like you said, if he falls a lap down, he's going to have to come up with some crazy strategy and roll the dice and get a lot of luck to maybe get his lap back and not be in a horrible position. Because even if he takes the wave around, then he's still stuck on those old tires and probably going to be going even slower than he did when he opted not to take tires the last time. And it just kind of compounds itself.
Yeah, and the way turn 2 is, I would not be surprised if we get a caution, because I tell you what, the 15 of David Edwards, he completely destroyed the wall for turn 2, and he's dropped back all the way to the 10th position with that damage. So the 15 going backwards. Looks like Macaulay able to get past, I believe that was Del Lee. Yeah, he got past it back by Del Lee to move up to 11th. But yeah, that 15, he took a hard lick on the wall, and you're gonna see him come into the picture here with Cody Macaulay too. Is even GT starting to put a little gap on Curtis Preston. So we're seeing definitely some interesting racing out here, Brandon. GT definitely taking wise advice, like you were saying, from Curtis Preston there. So he was definitely looking very strong.
You know, Zach, talking about the 15, I missed it live. I just happened to see a car that looked a little bit out of line going into 3, and went up to look, and I was like, wow, it's David Edwards. Wasn't he just up running in, the top 4, top 5?
Yeah.
And went back and looked, and yeah, just, a little bit of a miss on the exit of 2 and really hit the wall hard. And that's probably going to be some suspension damage and cost him a lot of time and speed getting it fixed on pit road, and just running this this pit cycle here. Going to lose a little bit, but like you said, GT and Curtis Preston up at the front. A little about like a half-second gap, slowly but surely, creeping away. And I've noticed, 15 hit the wall again. It's something that I noticed in my experience. I've not done too many races here, but one thing I've noticed is just how distinct each, set of corners is. You'll be really good and make up a little bit of time in, say, 1 and 2, but then the guy you're trying to race is just a little bit faster in 3 and 4, and you just kind of play this cat and mouse back and forth game throughout the run.
Who was he called it again? He was right on board the 15 in the Jack Daniels machine here, having a rough go here at Rockingham. The Rock is getting the better of the 15 right now.
Well, looking at that 15, I think his right front is looking a little. It looks like, it's some suspension damage. He's going to be struggling pretty bad right now.
And not only that, but that splitter. Oh, and he got the wall again there. That splitter damage right there on that right front, that's making no downforce. That is not a good thing to have splitter damage on these race trucks. That's when you lose, majority of your grip, and it's right on that right front. So that right front's lost a lot of grip, and it's only going to continue to get worse for that 15.
As Cody Macaulay, on pit road.
Wow. He's going to play some strategy here. So I think that's an interesting call. Most likely, my thing is, are the other guys going to try to one-stop this race? Two-stop it, including their pit stop they had before, but one-stop it from here because they pitted at around lap 20, so that's really only having to go 127 laps. So you're looking at them going about 64 laps on tires at most, and that's doable. But you got to definitely manage your tires because this place will chew the tires up for sure.
Well, absolutely, and it looks like now, I believe Cody Macaulay's he's coming out of this 2 laps down. He's not that far behind the leaders, so he should be able to maybe get 1 back. As I say that, they're going into 1. It looks like he's just now coming out of 4. So he's got a good gap from them. He's put himself in a very vulnerable position here, pitting early, and if I was the rest of these guys, I would be trying to make it that 1 stop. It stands to reason that less pit stops is faster overall. So, making this extra pit stop, maybe he's going to have to take one a little bit later on to make it to the end. It may just be too big of a hole to climb out of.
It's very possible, as you see there, as he's got past the lead lap trucks there, and that shows you the different tires. Look at him just drive away from these guys on the older tires. Those tires, man, they just fall off so much. And next person's going to be Travis Everett, who's 4 seconds back from the lead. Look at that, just straight to the bottom, right around like he's standing still. That right there shows you what tires do at Rockingham. That's what I was saying, man. This place is so tire sensitive, and you can really burn the tires up even by not even feeling like you're going fast. It's just driving it a little bit wrong, and you can really tear a tire up here. As GT continue to pull from Curtis Preston. Maybe Curtis Preston's going to ask GT for some tips because GT's got this place figured out tonight, man.
It seems like it. It may just be that as Cody Macaulay put down the fastest lap of the race that time by with a 23.0 to our leader running a 24.4. So you guys seeing Cody McCauley go around Travis Everett like he was standing still. If you want a good visualization of what a second difference on the track looks like, that's it right there. He just come flying through here, running almost a second and a half quicker. Ooh, this is a little loose
Oh,
in
he
the
almost
one.
wrecks with Ooh.
Well,
He
that's
tr-
not going to help the tires.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I think he sent it from pretty far back on Curtis Preston. I think Curtis Preston was going to the bottom, and McCauley didn't want to get to. He stepped on that brake, and that definitely lost time for both of them right there. That puts the lead up to about a 2-second lead there for GT now, um, from a 1.1. So about 8/10 a second loss there for Curtis Preston. But Cody McCauley also losing a lot of times and not helping the tires by sliding them things like that.
Well, looks like Cody's going to get by GT here pretty quickly, and so he'll go back to one lap down. If there is a caution, he is sitting in a pretty good spot. Should be able to, I believe he's going to be the lucky dog recipient, as David Edwards is 3 laps down after coming in to get his damage fixed and possibly some fuel and tires. So not a bad spot now. Got pretty fortunate not having a caution come out while he was 2 down. But talking about Curtis Preston, losing a little bit of time to his teammate GT. Occasionally you'll just take a run and just try something different. You get fresh tires and you really get a feel for, hey, if I try this, what happens? And sometimes it's just a change that affects the tires, wrong, and it maybe puts a little bit more heat into them, wears them a little bit different. So I imagine we'll see Curtis picking up the pace a little bit after this sequence when he sees, hey, this is how the tires wore. Don't do that again, and go back to what he was doing before that he knew worked.
Looks like Dylan Reed was able to get by the 59 of Travis Everett there and get him in position up to that 3rd spot. So Dylan Reed definitely figuring this racetrack out as this race is going on, and actually a little bit quicker than Curtis Preston and matching pretty much lap times with our leader of GT. So 5.5 seconds back from the lead, about 2.5 back from Curtis. It's possible Dylan Reed could go up here and challenge Curtis Preston for the 2nd spot, as he's about 2/10 quicker last time by and about 1/10 quicker than our leader. So Dylan Reed showing great long run pace here, as these guys are going to be nearing their pit stops, I'd say in the next 10 to 15 laps.
And it'd be interesting to see here as the pit window is getting close to opening, who decides to come in and maybe short pit on some of the guys ahead of them there, gain a little bit of time. And looking at, like you said, the lap times, Dylan Reed matching exactly our leader GT or Zari. And, Michael Sheffield coming into the picture now, closing up on the back door of Travis Everett, running about a 10th quicker. So Travis Everett burned up his stuff a little bit too much, just a little bit off the pace. And Michael Sheffield, after taking it easy at the start of the run, starting to make ground slowly but surely.
Yeah, Sheffield's got good pace right now. Another thing we got to factor into this, Brandon, is these guys are experiencing dirty air that they haven't experienced in a couple weeks, or I mean, really like a build or two. These trucks are a lot harder to follow now with the newest iRacing build that we have. That dirty air aero effect, it plays a big deal. You get behind that truck and you just get tight, and when you get that close, it looks like Sheffield was going to get by there, Travis Everett, as he moves himself up to the 4th position now in that one truck.
And I think that really benefits somebody who drives with the style of Michael Sheffield. He takes it really easy and he doesn't charge the corners too much. And when you have that aero push, it benefits you a lot to really back up the corner compared to the guy that you're racing and trying to pass. Trying to match his corner entry with that aero push, it's going to feel like you're driving it in super far and burning up that right front. So taking that little bit extra of backing up the entry to the corner, you'll get a lot better exit and make up some pretty good time. And the aero is not going to affect you as bad as it would otherwise.
Definitely wouldn't. There's look at Brendan Biesinger there to 68. Looks like he's going to make the pass on Travis Everett to move himself up into the top 5 in that 68. Remember, he's a top 5 points contender also in that 68. So he's had a great season so far in this truck, and he's continuing to show strength in the 68.
Well, I noticed the 68 of Brendan Biesinger, he fell off a little bit early on, started in the top 5, I believe, and he got some damage at some point. I don't know if he just, missed the corner out of 2, caught the fence, or was a part of that first caution. It fell back quite a bit, but making pretty good pace now as the run goes on, as we've got Matt Upbrook on pit road.
It looks like Matt Upbrook hitting pit road first in the 16 here, lap 75. That'll take him to the end of this race, I believe. So he's gonna have to do a little bit longer than he went on this stint here, of course, on tires. About 20, about 15 more than what he did here. So he'll definitely have to do his best here to make those tires last. And that's why I think GT and these guys, I would stretch it almost as far as I can go to make the last run as easy as possible, because this place is hard on tires, man.
Well, absolutely. And, if you can stretch it a little bit further, should you get a caution, another 10 or 15 laps, your tires are going to be in a bit better shape than guys that decide to maybe try to short pit and jump you on the track. And it also, in a little bit of a sense, will save tires, save a set for later in the run, where you can, maybe have that option if there is a quick caution after you pit. Don't pit here. Don't throw that extra set on, and then you can almost be in the same position as Cody McCauley, where he's got that extra set in the bank, hoping for a late race caution, and you can kind of say, hey, I know you played the strategy, but I'm not going to let it be that easy for you to just come up and pass me here. I've got this extra set too.
Ooh, look at that. John Olegan nice and close to the wall. Man, oh man, that was close for him. And you see here comes the 16 of Matt Upwood now on those new tires, working his way past with the new tires here. He's going to try to get past this 81 going down to 1, but the 81 right there. There's the 62 Cody McCauley back to Travis Everett's bumper. He's going to go by, and he's still one lap down, Brandon, but he will not be able to make this race on one stop, most likely.
Yeah, he went from banking on a caution to having that extra set to banking on a caution just to be able to stay with these lead guys. We saw when he pit earlier that he fell 2 laps down, and falling 2 laps down late in the race, early in the race, it's not the worst thing that can happen to you. There's still a lot of things that can go on in the race to make that up, but late in the race, you're really running out of time to catch any kind of luck, as we see Dylan Reed now on pit road from the 3rd position, I believe it was.
Yes, it was Dylan Reed hitting pit road in the 31. That Rowdy Energy 31. He's done a great job to pick up his pace as this race is going on. See what he can do on the stop. No mistakes here. Nice and easy into the box. Going to have 4 tires and pack this thing full of Sunoco fuel and get that truck back out on the racetrack and see where he comes around. I think you'll be seeing GT most likely. I'd say around 87 would be my number because that'd be a good 60 laps to the end, and that I think that's a good number to hit.
Well, if I don't know if he's going to want to wait that long. It seems Curtis Preston now on pit road, Michael Sheffield, Travis Everett, and John Oliette also on pit road. The 68 coming to pit road this time. So now it will just be the 4 GT and the 23 of Chad Biesinger that have not come into pit yet.
And we'll have to see here on lap 84 as GT continues on the complete lap 84 and get the start of lap 85. It's definitely it's definitely interesting what these guys are pulling right now. I mean, GT's went 65 laps on this on these tires right here, so that's a good distance. And if he can go to 87, he'll be coming this time, so he'll have to do about 62 laps on the next set. So he's already done 65. That's doable. He knows that, and this is in the picture, and now he's going to bring that forward to pit road. Looks like Brendan Biesinger already hit pit road. Chad Biesinger on pit road. Looks like mostly everybody has hit pit road, guys, and got back out there on 4 tires. GT will be the last of our drivers on the lead lap to pit.
And I believe Cody McCauley may come away with the lead when this all cycles around. Dylan Reed not too far behind, as we've seen. Dylan's on those fresher tires, running about a second quicker than Cody McCauley. So it will be short-lived, but he is back on the lead lap. He really needs something to happen here soon to get a caution so he can reset and kind of be on equal footing with these guys.
Very, very true there, Brandon. As you can see there, look at the 16 making his way past the 62 of Cody McCauley here. Like you said, McCauley should cycle around to be our leader. Yes, he will. He'll have I believe at least about a 6 or 7 second lead here, but that should close in pretty quickly, as actually Dylan Reed has jumped our leader of GT So they're 9 seconds back from our leader, Cody McCauley. But Cody McCauley will have to make another pit stop in this race.
And that just shows how staying out for GT, those extra couple laps, how much time that cost him. Dylan Reed was a substantial difference in time behind him, and just pitting those extra laps made up a lot of time, able to essentially come out on the back bumper now of GT.
Yeah, I think it worked out nicely for GT though. He made a nice clean pass right as they got up to speed, and he should be able to easily start to build this gap back up. And he'll have the freshest tires of all the guys he's racing, and he's going to be the leader within, I'd say, the next 7 to 8 laps here when he catches Cody McCauley. So that right there bodes well for this Ford machine to bring a home victory lane if we do not see another Nissan Central caution.
Oh, that's absolutely right, Zach. It was perfectly timed. If he'd have waited another lap, he'd have come out behind Dylan, maybe had to use up a little bit more tire, but essentially he barely gave up what would be the race lead for a split second to Dylan when they cycled back around. And GT, I'm not sure he was too worried about maybe falling behind a little bit, because clearly he's had the pace so far this race to be able to pull away from the rest of the field. But it's got to feel good knowing, hey, I had this lead, I stayed out for this amount of laps, and they still couldn't pass me. I've got something here for these guys.
Looks like Curtis Preston able to get past Dylan Reed too, also in the 31. So Curtis Preston back to the 3rd position in that number 29. So we look at the battle here with Brendan Biesinger, Michael Sheffield, Travis Everett, all these guys on blue tires. I believe Biesinger might have hit pit road a little bit earlier than a few of these guys. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. As he did a great job through the pit sequence. He must have did a very good job there to jump in front of the 11 and the 59. So good job on Brendan Biesinger. And he's also got a little bit of nose damage, but he's been doing great with that nose damage personally.
Yeah, it looks like for the short run that nose damage is going to hurt, but he showed that he had a lot of pace when it cycled into the long run that last run. So the damage isn't hurting him too much. Obviously, I'm sure he would like a caution to be able to dedicate some more time on pit road to kind of iron out those wrinkles a little bit, but he's showing right now that he doesn't really need to.
Now the battle for the lead's about to heat up as GT has already caught Cody McCauley. He's looking to the inside off of 2, and there it is. The 4 going down to 3 and 4 will take the lead back. That's GT back to the lead. Cody McCauley back to 2nd. Look at the speed difference, up to a 2nd difference on lap times here for these 2 trucks.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to think what Cody can do, barring that caution that he really needs. I don't think if even he sees now that he's been caught, if he pits within the next couple laps to try to, offset that time loss, he's kind of just going to be right back where he was. But if he waits, he's also going to be right back where he was. There's not many options left for that 62 truck.
Yeah, the only thing he can do personally is wait to see if he can catch a caution. And if he waits too long, he won't be able to get back with the fresh tires. But the thing is, if he pits now, the fresh tires aren't going to be as big a difference. So he's going to make up the time. So he's in a sticky situation right now in that 62s. He's already got passed by Curtis Preston, and Dylan Reed should be going by also here as they go to 3 down to 1 and 2. So yeah, it's tough, man. He's in a very tough situation, but he's going to have to think his way out of this one.
Well, speaking from personal experience, it wasn't too long ago I was in a situation similar, not being able to make it to the end of the race, hoping for a caution, and the worst thing that can happen here is he rides it out, runs it dry, and then as soon as he pits, they get a caution. It really doesn't matter too much at that point, especially considering I'm sure a lot of these guys may not pit, and if he can't take the wave around, then that's absolutely awful.
The thing is, he pitted right at 58. So he's looking at less than 100 laps. I believe he could make it on full personally. Going about 90 laps, I believe that's pretty doable. But the biggest thing I worry about for him is tires. Taking the tires that far here at Rockingham It's almost a death sentence. So he'll have to figure it out. Maybe I mean personally, that's probably what he's gonna have to do. He's just gonna have to stretch it all the way to the end and hope the tires stay with him, or he doesn't have a tire failure.
Yeah, there's not many options, like I said before, and you're kind of in a box, and there's almost a little bit of comfort knowing, okay, well, there's nothing I can do now. I'm just gonna drive, and whatever happens, happens.
That's all you really can do, my friend, as you see GT working through traffic there on Matt Upbrook and Chad Biesinger. But while we're under this long green flag run, we should give a shout out to the sponsors here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting here. So remember, as always, you need to go check out Sheffield Graphics because they specialize in sim racing paint schemes as well as team logos and race posters. Remember, they do not charge for their work. They only ask for donations to the Folds of Honor charity. So you can go donate directly from a link there to the Folds of Honor charity on the Sheffield Graphics Facebook page. And remember, they are based out of Chesapeake, Virginia, and owned by Michael Sheffield himself out here on the racetrack. So definitely go check out Sheffield Graphics and get you something cool done sim racing wise there from Sheffield Graphics. As Matt Upbrook here looking to take it down to pit road in that 16 after getting very close with the wall. But also want to give a shout out to Or Nissan Central, the primary series sponsor here at Evolution Racing Leagues. Or Nissan Central is the leading Nissan dealership at Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So you go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com and check out what they have in store for you there. So thank you to those two wonderful sponsors here. And we also have our joint sponsor here for Evolution Race Leagues and Freaky Fast. And remember, that's ButtKicker. Feel what you have been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So remember to go check out ButtKicker and their ButtKicker Gamer 2 at buttkicker.com, and you can also use Freaky Fast 20 to get 20% off on any purchase there at buttkicker.com to let them know that we sent you there. So thank you for that and all the sponsors. You also can go check out the merch stores down below in the description for the Freaky Fast and Evolution Racing Leagues. So thank you to everyone. We've had a great night so far here at Rockingham, and we'll see how it all plays out. I don't want to jinx no cautions or nothing because you know how I do. So hopefully we stay clean and green here at the Rockingham Speedway.
Well, Zach, while you were doing our wonderful sponsor reads, I noticed the 42 of Alex Rudolph came off pit road, made a lap, and then decided just to bring it back down pit road. I was gonna say you can't tell a racer not to race, but I think that truck's got a lot more damage than he anticipated, and said, you know what, I don't want to be a problem out here. Don't want anything to happen. Might just pack it up.
Yeah, sometimes, man, the rock gets the better of you, and that's just the best decision, to make that. So, I mean, we've seen a few guys definitely make that decision so far. It looks like David Edwards also took behind the wall at some point there in that 15. But yeah, this is such a tough racetrack. We keep alluding to that, but it is so tough to get around this place. It really doesn't forgive mistakes, and it really just make sure you have to be on your P's and Q's completely as a driver and hit your marks, because if you overdrive one bit at all, you're getting into the wall.
Yeah, man, these old racetracks are mean. It seems like the older a track gets, the meaner it gets, and this one's really grumpy.
Very grumpy, yes it is. And looks like we got a battle for the 7th and 8th positions. John Oliet actually passes teammate Cody McCauley, getting by him in the 81. For that 7th position, Cody McCauley continue to drop back now about 15 seconds behind our leader, 15.7 seconds behind leader GT after their pit stop. So, yeah, I think McCauley is just going to try to stretch it to the end here, Brandon, and hopefully these tires can make it. But he's running 25.35, so his pace is considerably low.
Yeah, it's about a second and a half slower than our leader right now, GT, sorry. And I don't know the math on it. I'm not that good at math, but it looks like we've got about a little over 30 to go. And I think he may, at the current pace, end up falling a lap down. as GT is really not that far behind him. It looks like they're just now coming out of 4 as GT is going into 3.
Oh, he's hitting pit road.
Oh, he is pitting.
So 62 is going to hit pit road. He must not have been able to make it on fuel, or he just didn't feel like the tires could make it. I think that was the big concern. I mean, he'd have to go more than 30 laps still, and he was almost in the 25-second bracket. I mean, that's when you start to really know the tires are starting to really give. As the 62 Cody McCauley will bring it down pit road, and he'll just try to drive back up to the best position he can here, and hopefully he's hoping now they don't get a caution until he gets back on the lead lap.
Absolutely, and it's going to take quite a few laps. It looked like he only took right side tires, Zach.
Well, that is an interesting call, Brandon. You know, that's a quicker pit stop, so he's only going to go, I believe, you know, like, I don't even think he'll go 2 laps down here. But how will that balance of the truck be? That'll be the question for him. We'll have to see with them old left sides, because those left sides are pretty old now on that number 62 machine.
Well, we heard from Curtis Preston that it's a little loose on the fresh tires, especially in 1 and 2. And yeah, oh, Cody is wiggling. It's very loose, and you know, I think that it was a plan just to kind of not fall too far behind GT, because I believe he is 2 laps down now.
Yes, he is actually up.
So trying to keep as close as he can to get back to 1 lap down as quickly as possible, so that maybe he can get that lucky dog position. But if you've got, you know, the 2 tires, if it makes it that loose to where you can't make speed and you can't catch up to GT, it really doesn't matter. But it looks like he does have pretty good pace, and you know, once they get warmed up, it's going to feel a lot better, I'd imagine. But that also, I don't know how it would factor into his strategy if he can somehow make it back on the lead lap for later in this race for a super late race caution. But I believe he still will end up with 1 set, because from my math, at the most, I think anybody's only taken 2 sets, and they came in here with 4.
Yeah, so yeah, all these guys still should have a set of right side tires. Well, in McCauley's case, 1 set of right side tires and 2 sets of left. But yeah, all these other guys got about 1 set left of all 4 tires. So yeah, that'll definitely play an interesting factor into it. Yeah, I mean, his pace is good right now. My thing is just from this tire, the V7 tire, it just seems like when you take 2 tires, you get that gain early in the run. But sooner or later, when those right side tires get hot, you start to feel the left sides even more how old they are. And he'll definitely feel the effects of it here sooner or later, in my opinion. So his pace won't be as continued as well. But if he can catch Chad Biesinger, who we're looking at now, who's coming out of 2, as McCauley's coming out of 4, he's got a long way to go to get to that lucky dog position.
Well, looking at the lap times, Cody McCauley with a 23.4 to Chad. His lap was a 25.0, so a significant difference there. He might be able to run him down, but he just has to hope that he can get there before anything happens on the racetrack. And from my perspective, it seems like 2 tires is a short-term solution for a long-term problem. And you know, like you said, you'll be pretty quick when you get started. It helps the truck rotate just a little bit, but when the tires kind of fall off and they start to even out, the 2 tires is going to do that quicker, and then when they do even out, you're going to be running slower. Not maybe much slower, but slower in the long run, and it just kind of ends up costing you time. But you know, he's in a position now where he's just got to try something to stop the bleeding. That no tire strat at the beginning of the race, you don't know how it's going to hurt you or if it's going to hurt you until it's just way too late to do anything about it.
We'll have to see if Chad can keep his lucky dog position. As you said, McCauley going to be catching him pretty quickly here. McCauley now almost within a corner and a back straightaway behind him now. So definitely closing that gap as Chad's running 25.76 to Cody McCauley's 23.51. So I think McCauley will catch him. I think the other issue he might run into is GT might catch John Oliet, who's 19 seconds behind the leader. He's running 25s and high 24s. So while GT's still in the low 24 bracket.
Yeah, it's a big race against time here. It's not a big difference between John Oliet and GT, but it is enough that he is eventually going to catch him. Like you said, Now, looks like we've got a little over about 25 laps to go here, and I think in 25 laps, GT definitely will catch the 81 truck. And it's just we keep talking about it, but that's really Cody needs a caution. That is the only way that any of this works out for him. And he's in the truck. Just come on, guys, somebody hit the wall, somebody spin, somebody get into somebody do something, somebody throw a beer can from the stands. Come on, give me a break here. Um, but other than that, I mean, he's just kind of out here riding around.
Well, iRacing is a beautiful simulation that we have, but we start simulating fans to beer cans. That'll be a definitely interesting one.
Yeah, the beer can from the stands is a feature we don't quite have yet, just yet.
The RNG beer can out there hitting the racetrack is Macaulay's already caught Chad Biesinger, so you can see he's already going to get into that lucky dog position. So he could very well get himself back in this race if we catch a caution here with 21 to go.
Yeah, there is still a chance, and it's not over till it's over. But a lot of things gotta come into play here, and the stars really have to align. And it's kind of a strategy that we've seen quite a lot since they've implemented the tire limits here on iRacing, where you just try something different to gain an advantage later, and a lot of times that it relies on cautions that in a really good league like we have here at the Adrenaline Truck Series and Evolution Racing Leagues, they don't get a lot of cautions, so that type of strategy really doesn't work out very well.
Gotta have cautions to make that strategy work, Brandon, like you said. So what I see is I'm getting word that my curse will come into effect here with 15 to go as always, but I have a feeling the curse is staying away today. I just have that feeling.
Every time the 15 to go curse is brought up, I can just hear the vinegar and Zach's voice. He despises being associated with it.
Yeah. I don't like being a curse, man. I want to have a good effect on, I want to have a good effect out there for everybody. I mean, maybe maybe I do have a good effect for some people. Some people like cautions. I'm not a fan of cautions though. I'm a big fan of, long green flag racing. So hopefully my caution does not come into effect this race because, I like to see the drivers who earned it get that long green run.
Well, if your curse is indeed a thing, Zach, I'll tell you, Cody McCauley has been your biggest fan lately, and you have really let him down.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. It's Zach's fault. Here we go, 15 to go. Will my curse strike? Hopefully not. Look at Travis Everett there. He's running in the 6th position. That's far behind Michael Sheffield. So Travis Everett not had the greatest day after we went this long green flag run. He's shown a lot of pace, but I think his pace has just not been as great over the long run. It's tough to do here at Rockingham.
Well, Zach, looking at the lap times, it seems it's going back and forth just a little bit. Dylan Reed every now and then he runs about a 10th or so quicker than Curtis Preston and the 68 of Brendan Biesinger. And then it'll flip again to where, Brendan is running about a 10th quicker than everyone but our leader, GT Azari. If he can just string together, those quick laps, lap after lap for the rest of this race, he may be able to contend up there for that 3rd position currently held by Dylan Reed.
It's very possible there. We could see that happen there. Brendan Biesinger, I mean, with the damage he's got on that race truck, he's done a great job to keep a hold of this race the way he has.
Yeah, it's not often you get to see a truck with that kind of damage still contend for a top 5. A lot of times it's hard enough just to contend to get a top 10.
No, we got 12 to go here. With GT Irizarry leading our race with about a 4.4 second lead. He has been in command of this thing since we went back green flag racing from the last caution of this event. Brought to you by Nissan Central. And I tell you what, he has been on it, on it, on it all day long here. As he's just found the pace, man. As this race has went on.
I think that it plays into GT's driving style. He's just really patient and calm driver. He just goes out there and just takes off consistent laps. He doesn't ever seem to really drive the car too hard unless he absolutely has to. And at a track like Rockingham, that pays off very well.
It definitely does. So Rockingham definitely plays into that factor, my friend. As we got 10 to go here at Rockingham. GT continuing to stretch his legs on this lead. It'll be interesting to see if Dylan Reed can actually catch Curtis, as he was 2/10 quicker last time by. He said, like you said though, Brandon, it's just not consistent enough though.
Well, Zach, we talked about it earlier. If Cody's going to get that caution, he needs to get it very quickly because GT is just about on the back bumper of the 81 of John Ouliette to put put the 81 into that lucky dog position.
Yeah, and that would be when the curse would strike to watch. So as soon as gets slapped, Cody McCauley will get that unfortunate luck probably. Knowing my curse here, but with 8 to go, anything can happen. I mean, does GT even push the issue to get around him? Maybe. Because
I don't really think he'll have to. I think John will probably just pull over and give it to him.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, even though John is teammates with Cody McCauley, and Cody McCauley is saying, "Hey man, don't land by. Do whatever you can." But I mean, at this point, you got the leader behind you with 7 to go. It's the most courteous thing is to let him go and continue his win down the road.
Yeah, I think it's a much better result to have a teammate just maybe be a little bit upset with you than potentially cause an issue for the leader that could end a race that he looks like he's dominated pretty much the entire race from about the quarter mark on. He's just been stretching his legs out here, and you don't really want to put yourself in that position to maybe take away a win like this.
And there you see, gets by John Ouliette. That now puts John Ouliette in the lucky dog spot. Now Cody McCauley out of that position, as I think Cody McCauley, he's coming out of 2, and he's running lap times pretty similar to these guys too. So he's not going to catch John Ouliette. So it does not look like it's going to be a night for Cody McCauley to get back on the lead lap after having that untimely pit stop there with a little bit of damage and not taking tires on that first stop. So we've seen almost the Michigan effect play to him again. My question is, next week at Las Vegas, if they have a semi-early pit stop, around 20 to 30, does he take tires this time? I'd almost say yes.
I think you'd have to. The trend is just that strategy does not work out very well. And you kind of got bit by it 2 weeks in a row now, and just go back to the drawing board and don't get creative and just run on the same strategies as everybody else and just try to figure out where your speed is. Don't do anything too crazy. Like I said before, it's really easy to think your way out of a win, and really hard to think your way into one.
Completely agree with you there. As looks like Curtis Preston may be able to hang on to this here. We'll be coming to 2 to go. He's got about a second lead over Dylan Reed. So with 2 to go, I don't think Dylan Reed will be able to close that gap. We'll just have to see if GT could take this Sheffield Graphics white flag as we ride here with him, following him down Thunder Alley for the penultimate lap here as he comes 2, 3, and 4. Coming out of here, this is going to be the key here. He's going to see the Sheffield Graphics white flag in the air. 1 lap left here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series as GT Irizarry goes down to turn 1 and 2 to be able to bring home this victory here tonight at the Rockingham Speedway for 1 final lap. I tell you what,
all clear.
Yeah, it does. Looks all clear. I tell you what, too, Brandon, being the points leader here, coming out of 4, looks like he's gonna slow her down and he's gonna take the checker flag. GT Irizarry, your race winner here tonight, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. So congrats to GT getting his first win of the season and also being our points leader. Another great race for him to build that points lead over Curtis Preston, who was the second place man in points, finishing second to him here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, Zach, looking at GT as he's coming across the line, just let you know what kind of guy he is. Pulled over and let the 81 get his lap back. Just go out here and pull one more lap.
Yeah, that was cool to see here. Is now you see GT do a little drift. Oh, a little tap with the wall too. That's a nice one. As he's gonna burn him down in that Bush Light #4 Mobile One truck. Great run for GT tonight. And that 4 able to get his first victory here of the season in the truck series here for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series and Evolution Racing League. So shout out to him and shout out to all these wonderful drivers out here. We will take a break in one moment as oh man, GT burned it down in victory lane. Those are some nice burnouts. As we'll be
Very
back in one moment.
symmetrical.
Yeah, that was a perfect circle. As we'll be right back here to get all these gentlemen down here for our post race interviews. All right, we are back here, everyone, as we have our top 3 finishers here tonight of Dylan Reed, Curtis Preston, and GT Azari after a wonderful race here tonight at the Rockingham Speedway. And our first up in the booth will be Dylan Reed in that 31 after missing 2 weeks. We'll see what his thoughts are here on Rockingham tonight. Hey, Dylan, Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy. Hey, Dylan, Zach up in the booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Well, what a race it was for you tonight, starting near the rear of the field in that 12th position. Able to work yourself up through 2 cautions here tonight to get up into that 3rd position. It just seemed like you got better and better as the night went on, and your long run pace was really your strength. We missed you here the past 2 weeks, but you're able to come back here tonight and have another strong run, man. How was Rockingham for you?
It was all right. That first caution, I actually lost like 30 RPMs. So I was down the whole race. I was just trying to keep up, so I figured I might as well save on the early runs, try to see if I can catch it up on the back end.
Well, you definitely had a pretty good pace there near the end of the runs there. Like you said, definitely saving a little bit there at the beginning with a little bit of RPM loss, a little bit of engine power not being available in that 31. But, man, what a great rebound for you for that, to be able to come back in the 31 to get up here to 3rd and continue your strong season here in the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series. We head off to Las Vegas next week. Way different track from here tonight. How are you feeling about Las Vegas, Dylan?
If it's anything like Charlotte, I'll be good to go. But other than that, I just haven't done much practice recently, so I just need to get back in the groove and we'll take it one track at a time.
For sure you will. Definitely our race winner at Charlotte, so we'll have to see if you can replicate that 1.5-mile speed there at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But congrats on 3rd here tonight, Dylan. Another great run for yourself. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go and get ready for Las Vegas next week?
Yes, sir. As always, thank you to my wife for letting me race as much as I do. Thanks to the teammates. I know that a couple of them couldn't show up today, but they're always out here helping me out. And then thanks to you guys for broadcasting it, and thanks to Sheffield for hosting.
Well, awesome stuff, Dylan, buddy. We'll catch you next time, and you have a great week, and we'll catch you next Monday.
Yeah, you guys as well.
All right, that was Dylan Reed there, your 3rd place finisher here tonight in the 31. Remember, won Charlotte in Milwaukee Mile, so he's going to go to Charlotte with that 1.5-mile speed there next week at Las Vegas, see if he can replicate that. Now we'll move on to possibly the race favorite here, who set on pole, but just a little bit of lack on speed here tonight compared to teammate GT, but was a strong 2nd place truck all night. We'll see what Curtis Preston has to say. Hey, Curtis, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Zach. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great up here, Curtis, man. Well, what a race it was between you and GT, man. I tell you what, you and your teammate had a heck of a battle here tonight. You started on the pole, led us through those first two caution phases right there in that 29, looking really strong. And then GT was able to get past you there once we went back green flag racing. And it just seemed like he had a little bit of the upper hand over you, a little bit on the long runs there. What did you struggle with tonight here? But you also had a great run, too, so I can't say you struggled too bad.
Man, the first couple runs there, we were feeling really good about it. And, man, we're going to have to rename GT Dr. GT because he put on clinic tonight. I couldn't do nothing but watch him disappear.
Yeah, he definitely looked very strong in that 4-man. He had some great pace, but you also had great pace here tonight, too. You know, you were a solid second-place truck all night to him and able to keep that Jim Beam 29 right there in contention all the way down to the end of this thing here at Rockingham. You know, we head off to Las Vegas next week, 1.5 miles. So, pretty common racetrack here on iRacing. How you feeling about Las Vegas, Curtis, as we head in there next week?
I feel pretty good about it. We usually run pretty decent at the 1.5 miles. Just going to have to figure out how to save the right front tire a little bit better. I think that's what got us tonight. That's where we struggled. Just driving it too hard on exit there early, trying to hang with him, and then he just walked off. But 1.5 miles are usually pretty good to us. There'll be a lot of draft in there, so got a good team, so like our chances.
Definitely will be a fun race there next week at Las Vegas with you. You guys always putting on a great show for us. You came in here second in the points tonight, so we'll see what you can do to maybe close that gap a little bit on GT next week. But you're able to keep him at least close as possible here in second. But congrats on second, Curtis. Anybody want to send a shout out to you before we let you go?
Yeah, I got to thank Michael Sheffield for putting this on, man. It's a great league. We really enjoy racing here. Got to thank Sheffield Graphics, and I think ButtKicker's come on board to help us out and support us. Appreciate that. And as always, thank you guys for being in the booth, man, and doing what you do. And thanks to all the guys at SJR, man. Congratulations again to GT, man. He put the whooping on us tonight.
Yes, it was, Curtis. Great race tonight, man, and we will catch you next week at Las Vegas.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
You too. All right, that was your second place man, Curtis Preston there, second in points also. So running strong consistently each and every week. But now we got our first of this season race winner, GT Irizarry, as he's able to bring it home. Dr. GT, as his teammate said, because he put a clinic on out there. And it was a clinic, I must say. So we'll have to see what GT's what he figured out here tonight. Hey, GT, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
What's happening, brother? How are you?
Oh, doing great, GT, man. Well, I tell you what, we're going to have to use this line because your teammate said it. He said we're going to have to call you Dr. GT because you put a clinic out there tonight after you were able to get the lead after that second caution of the season. Man, from there, it was kind of smooth selling for you. You just looked so strong, and your pace was just immaculate through that whole entire run and really keeping the front tires under this truck. What did you figure out throughout this race, and how did you make it work like that?
First thing is, I mean, I'm surprised you guys got to actually talk to Curtis. He actually finished. I thought he was still racing. We were so far ahead of him, but we just figured out, lifting early was key there. And of course, I shared the information to my slide job racing's teammates, but I shared it with them when there was like 25 laps to go. Curtis Newton knew what I was doing. He told me afterwards. He said he saw it. He was trying to duplicate it, but just couldn't do it. It's almost kind of like that Harvick thing in Atlanta. If everybody sees what he's doing, knows what he's doing, he's Harvicking, but nobody can do it. So I don't know. It was fun, man. It shocked the hell out of me, to be honest with you.
I tell you what, it was definitely interesting to watch. I mean, we heard from your teammate Michael Sheffield even too. He said that Curtis Preston should be the one to beat here coming into Rockingham. And then you threw a curveball at him there. And like you said, you just figured it out. They're lifting a little bit earlier than everybody, able to roll that center and keep those tires nice and cool. And that's definitely the key here at Rockingham to keep that right front tire under you. Because if you ain't turning, you ain't going fast here. So you did a well of a job tonight. You came in here also with the points lead already. So that even builds onto that points lead as we go to Las Vegas next week. Do you think you can continue to build on that? Because this is your first win of the season, but you've just been consistent with through the first 6 races having 5 top 5s.
Yeah, I mean, we feel good just about at every track that we're going to. It's just, I mean, we don't. We go there with the mentality, thinking that we're just as good as anybody, and we've got just as good as a chance as anybody else to win that thing. But we're not upset to finish second, third, or fourth, or fifth, or whatever. The fun is the main thing here. But here's a little funny fact for you, though. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I happen to be in the wrong manufacturer tonight.
I did.
Yeah, the weird thing is, SJR has been trying to get me to switch over to Chevys, and I won't do it. I'm a Ford guy, so just so happened at this track I get there, and steering wheel's missing from the old F-150, and just so happened they had a Chevy wrapped in the bush light. So here, drive this one instead. So I showed them, and I put it in winter circle. How about that?
That's pretty cool there. So I enjoyed seeing you drive the bow tie. It just proves you can do it in anything, man. That's it. Doesn't matter what make it is. You it's the man behind the wheels. So you definitely put on a clinic out there tonight, man. It was very fun to watch. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate this win tonight, GT?
Yeah, and actually, in reality, all joking aside, when I joined the server, I accidentally clicked the Chevy instead of the Ford, and I couldn't switch it. So I was like, damn it. So now I got to run this thing as bad as it felt. I had to do it. But anyways, yeah. Think right now, actually, I'm kind of nervous right now. I got to say prayers to my mother-in-law. She's actually in the hospital right now and not doing well. And like what I was telling the guys on the team, this isn't your typical horror mother-in-law story. She's actually a great person. We get along great. I've been married to her daughter for 23 years. And I mean, hell, she'd have a beer with me at any time, and we played jokes on people. So kind of nervous right now, waiting on phone calls to see what's going on. But prayers out to her, and I appreciate anybody else that silently says one for me. I appreciate that. But got to thank the team over there at SJR, all those guys. We learn off of each other, and it looks like it's that works and pays out, because it looks like we're 3 in a row now with wins. So that's great momentum, not only just for us, but for the whole team in general. But I want to thank you guys as always coming on. You guys do a great job broadcasting up there, and got to thank the league as well. Perfect place to race. I can't think of any better league out here. And I've been in a number of them, and this one right here is definitely at the top of the charts. So thanks everybody, and hopefully we put on a pretty decent show for the crowd there.
Oh, you definitely did. And I gotta double down on your prayers there for your mother-in-law, GT. So we'll freak fast sending a get well there for that too, man. So good luck on that. Congrats on the win here tonight, and we will catch you next week, GT. You have a great night. And that was our race winner, GT Irizarry there in the number 4 machine after a dominant race here tonight. Just immaculate pace. So congrats to him, but we'll head off into our race results here for the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here at Evolution Racing Leagues. And there they are. Look at that. GT Irizarry bringing home the win with Slide Job Racing 1-2 of Curtis Preston bringing it home second. Looks like Dylan Reed's going to bring it home in third with Brendan Biesinger in the 68. Another strong run for him in the 4th position. 5th will go to Michael Sheffield. 6th is going to be Travis Everett. John Oliette will bring home in this 7th position. 8th is going to go to Cody McCauley. 9th, Chad Biesinger. 10th will go to Matt Upbrook. 11th, Dale Lee. 12th, David Edwards. 13th, Alex Rudolph. 14th, Kel Seaman. And 15th, rounding out your field of the night, will be Richard Gonzalez. And that is our race results here tonight from the Evolution Racing Leagues with the Adrenaline Rush Truck Series here at Rockingham Speedway with Freaky Fast Broadcasting. What a night it's been. Brandon, man, how can you sum this thing up? Because it was a great race, and GT put on one heck of a clinic.
Yeah, really, the one word to summarize it is just domination. GT, fantastic job tonight. Difficult track, and the guys kept it really clean. Only had the 2 cautions and minimal incidents in those, so great job for the league. Really excited to get to Las Vegas next week and see what these guys can do in the trucks there. We know it's a multi-group track, and especially some of the new features iRacing's given us with this new build. Going to be interested to see how guys can run the wall and make that new aero effect work to their liking. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see if that can work in 1 and 2 there at Las Vegas. Definitely fun. Have to see if anybody can break up this slide job racing dominance in the last 2 races, where GT pointed out the 3 in a row for slide job racing. That is a big accomplishment, especially with 3 different drivers. I mean, you had Travis Everett, then Curtis Preston, then GT here tonight. Does Michael Sheffield, does David Edwards, or Matt Oakbrook break through for slide job racing? We'll have to see because they've just been super strong. Does a new winner come out of the fold there too? We do not know. We'll have to see. And guess what? Next time you're going to have to tune in to check that out too. So don't miss that next Monday night. And now we'll send it up to Robert Moyer Jr. here, the boss man himself, to finish it all off here tonight, guys.
That is correct. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen out there, for tuning in. Brandon, Zach, thanks for the great commentating. Thanks to Evolution Racing League for letting us be part of their league here. So, well, we'll be off tomorrow night as we don't have nothing going on Tuesdays right now during the wintertime, guys. But we will be live Wednesday at Richmond in the trucks with Sim Racing Unleashed. Last race of their season in the trucks, and we will be crowning a champion Wednesday night at 7:50 Eastern, as long as I don't get hit by a big winter storm, which is coming. So we'll see how that all plays out. But, well, we're going to pack our stuff up here, guys. Make sure you tune in Wednesday and see who we crown. But until then, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.